Welcome to the 2025 SEC Championship Game Preview Show on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Let's get out of here!
The SEC Championship Game Preview Show is presented by ALFA Insurance. Auto, home, life, business. ALFA Insurance covers it all. ALFAinsurance.com. Also presented by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. The SEC Championship Game Preview Show is also brought to you by Ford, proud partner of the Crimson Tide. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, the official watch party location for Alabama athletics. And by Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Now, here's the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart.
Welcome, everybody. It was indeed a fun night on the Plains as Alabama was able to get the victory.
Advances to the SEC Championship game for the 16th time in school history.
And your life. Once again, Alabama able to roll over the Auburn Tigers and punch its ticket into this weekend's SEC Championship game. And that's why we're here once again on a Wednesday night at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Normally it's called Hey Coach, but tonight it's the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota. Auto, home, life, business, ALFA Insurance covers it all. ALFAinsurance.com. I'm Chris Stewart. Coming up in just a few moments, we will be talking with the general manager of the Crimson Tide football program, Courtney Morgan, and also director of player personnel, Bob Welton. Head coach Kalen DeBoer with us is going to be with us, at 7 o'clock and then, or 6:30. I'll get my times right in a minute. Let's try it all over again. Kalen DeBoer is with us at 6:30 tonight, and also tonight we'll have Keon Sabb from the Crimson Tide with us as well. If you want to be a part of the SEC Championship Preview Show, submit your question on the UA Athletics Hey Coach live stream on Facebook or YouTube. And also, for you Tide fans that are rolling into Atlanta for the SEC Championship Saturday, be sure to purchase your tickets today for Tailgating with the Tide. It's the official tailgate of the Crimson Tide. It's a pregame event at Hudson Grill hosted by the National Alumni Association in partnership with Yay Alabama and Crimson Tide Sports Marketing. Tailgating with the Tide tickets include food and drinks, and non-alcoholic ticket options are available. The National Alumni Association of the University of Alabama and Yay Alabama members save $10 on tickets. Just visit uanaa.link/SEC25 for more details and roll Tide. We'll tell you that address again later in our program, but when we come back, we're talking with General Manager Courtney Morgan and Director of Player Personnel Bob Welton as we broadcast live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. It's the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
10 seconds.
Able to advance to the SEC championship game this weekend, hence no Hey Coach. Instead, it's the Alpha Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota. At Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, as usual, I'm Chris Stewart, joined for the first half hour by two gentlemen that are a major part of Coach Kalen DeBoer's staff and the operation of Alabama football. General Manager Courtney Morgan, Director of Player Personnel Bob Welton. Gentlemen, it's been a full day because, oh, by the way, yeah, we got a championship game coming up on Saturday, but you two were so heavily involved in the recruiting process. Today was National Signing Day and a great day for the Crimson Tide in that regard. First of all, congratulations to you both.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Let's talk about, in general, and I'll get more from Coach later on, but the process of putting this roster together, the signing class together, and Bob, we'll start with you, of what allowed Alabama to be, again, when all of the dust settles, one of the best recruiting classes in the nation.
Yeah, I think, what's important nowadays is that the high school recruiting landscape's changed, where you used to be able to sign, we've signed 32 kids here before on this day. Well, now we're not, the philosophy that Courtney's brought is let's sign the right people, because you can't pay everybody.
Right.
Let's be smart in how we spend our money. So, I think we signed 20 today, and that's on purpose. So I think when you look at these rankings and things, I don't want the fans to get all worked up, but because we only signed 20 guys,
right,
it's going to suffer. But I think when you do that, you got to really pinpoint the right guys early on, and I think the staff does a great job of that. The staff Courtney's put together, just the relationships they build with these kids from an early. I think they've, in the thousands of the phone calls that these kids have gotten that we signed today over the last 2 years, the visits, the minute, it's just amazing the time put into those guys. And I think what we do a good job of is saying, these are the kids we want, how do we go about and get them?
Right.
And then, we put strategy together and say, all right, how do we get the most of these kids that we want? How can we get as many as we can? And that's the whole process, really.
Yeah, I like to also credit Trip Powell.
Yes.
So I want to give Trip a shout out. Trip is like our right-hand man. He's like the money guy, right? So Trip does a great job of.
With Yale, Alabama, for those that aren't familiar.
Yeah, Trip Powell, Yale, Alabama. So Trip does a great job of kind of laying the foundation. Okay, this is what financially it looks like, and then we work within the model and we figure out the best ways to spend the money. But it starts with that, with Trip. Bob and I put together multiple scenarios of how it's going to look, and it's just a puzzle. But I think we do a great job, and it's a team effort. Bob talked about the layers of people in our recruiting department. It's myself, Bob, it's Tony Jones, and Kevin Green, Jared McElwain, Jatavis Sanders, Kerrigan. It's a bunch of people in that office who are all kind of pulling the same way, and then our coaches. So we have we have a strategy. We have a organization that kind of all works together.
It is amazing to hear all of this, and I understand it's what college football is and college athletics. There is a financial piece to the recruiting that wasn't in existence just a few years ago, and in fact, there are probably people that aren't as aware of it as they would like to be, or as they were until you tuned in, that may have ridden off the road hearing you talk about the things you talked about, because this is now truly what you have to look at, recruiting budgets in regards to what you have available to offer a student athlete. They're coming with scholarship as usual, but there really is the financial component to it that just wasn't there before.
Yeah, and the one thing, and with that being in mind, the one thing that we've really stressed hard, and I know me and Courtney talk about it pretty much daily, is that relationships still matter.
Right.
We're never going to be a program that's just going to throw money at kids, where some programs have. We think it's because of the way the department is set up, we want these kids to want to come here for the right reasons. to be developed, and for all, because of relationships they have with our staff. And then what is that number that makes you comfortable doing that? And trying to get, discounts in a sense of, so we're not overpaying kids, but relationships do matter. And I know we talk about that all the time.
And we take pride in being, fiscally responsible, and we watch other teams make mistakes by overpaying people. And I go back to this, I don't know if it was this year, last year, Coach Saban said on game day, it's not about paying the players, it's not the problem, it's paying the right players. Right. So we're always trying to figure out who are the right guys to pay. And there's a lot of players out there who fans and recruiting, people that follow recruiting, maybe don't understand why we're not recruiting them. They just don't fit what we do. And we want to get the right guys because we know the investment that it's going to take, and we want a great ROI.
The one thing we joke about all the time is we'll be recruiting a kid, and all of a sudden we'll get down to it, and he wants way too much money. It's like, we're not willing to do that. That's not smart fiscally. Like, Courtney would be like, well, you know what? Let him go there. We'll get him back in a year in a portal. For a cheaper price.
It's really, I have it written in my office. Recruiting and evaluation, it's about discipline. And it's not being tempted to do things out of character that don't align with your organization. And that's really what we stick by. We're extremely disciplined, and we really think things over before we make decisions. And we always try to do what's best for not just now, but 2 years down the road. So we don't look back and make a decision that's going to affect the roster 2 years down the road.
Fascinating conversation we've got going with Courtney Morgan, General Manager for Alabama Football, and Director of Player Personnel, Bob Welton. We will continue to talk to these gentlemen and want to remind you that when Coach DeBoer joins us in a bit, you can call at 877-202-BAMA. We're at Baumhower's Victory Grill, your big game headquarters. Baumhower's has been voted the best wings in Alabama and the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state, offering fan favorites. Baumhower's is great for catering, carry-out, and dining in all season long. Legendary food, legendary fun. Baumhower's Victory Grill. We're back in a moment on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. the final in Athens. We don't have to go quite as far, but hopefully get the same result when we head to Atlanta this weekend for the SEC Championship game. That's what we're previewing here on the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show, presented by Toyota. Chris Stewart back with you, joined in just a little bit by head coach Kalen DeBoer, and later on by safety Keon Sabb. But right now we're talking with general manager of the Alabama football program, Courtney Morgan, and director of player personnel, Bob Welton. Courtney, you had a chance. You played at one of the blue bloods in the sport at the University of Michigan. You've been at some great places. You've been a part of Coach DeBoer's staff before you arrived in Tuscaloosa. Tell me what drew you to come with him and to come here to Alabama. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you were the first guy off the plane with Coach when we landed at Tuscaloosa, when you landed there.
I really didn't think twice about coming here. Coach DeBoer said, hey, I'm taking an Alabama job. Just be on the plane at 2 o'clock. I didn't think twice about it because I think that ultimately it was him. The same reason why I left Michigan, my alma mater, as a director of player personnel, to go with him. It's just, if you know him, you understand.
Sure.
This business to me is hard enough, and you want to work with people you really like, and it cares for you. So I didn't think twice about coming. I came here also because it's Alabama. I didn't, to be honest with you, I did not even think about the challenge of taking over for Nick Saban. That never really crossed my mind. I looked at the opportunity to come work at a school like Alabama and be at a school you can probably recruit anyone in the country. I've been in schools where, even in Michigan, you can't recruit anyone in the country. You're at Washington, you can't recruit anyone in the country. You're at Alabama, you can recruit anybody in the country. You're going to at least get some conversation. And I followed Alabama's recruiting success for years. I've followed the success of the program. So to be able to be a part of that and to be blessed to be able to have that opportunity, because I know there's a million people that want to sit in my seat and fill those shoes. Who wouldn't come?
Bob, you had been some different places in your career. You've been a part of Nick Saban's staff for several years. Kalen DeBoer becomes the head coach, and you were one of the people that was retained and had the opportunity to stay here. I know there's a laundry list of differences. I want to talk about similarities between Coach Saban and Coach DeBoer from your perspective, and what Coach Saban did that allowed him to be successful, but the characteristics that you've seen in Coach DeBoer that have allowed him to do the same.
Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious to me. You don't have to be around Coach DeBoer long to see these things, but I think first of all is his care and compassion for the players. And I hate to use the word players coach, but he is. He's approachable. And that's something I think people didn't realize about Coach Saban. Is players, he was very approachable if you played for him. And he made sure he had relationships with guys on our team. And just like Coach DeBoer, they kind of motivate from within, because they're approachable. They can motivate kids individually. They kind of have their hand on the pulse of the team. And I think that was a similarity for both of them. I think the other thing I would say it's similar is, Coach Saban would do anything in recruiting you asked him to do, even if he didn't want to. All I had to do is, Coach, this will help us get the kid, he would do whatever it was. Matter of fact, he, whatever, if he had to go read the fourth graders, he would go read the fourth graders.
Right.
Coach DeBoer is the same way. Whatever he needs to do in recruiting to help get a kid, hey, whatever it takes. I'll do whatever you need to do. So the ability for them, the want to recruit at this level, at a high level, because that's the other thing you don't understand is there's recruiting, but then there's recruiting at a high level. And I think Coach Saban obviously did that for a lot of years, but Coach DeBoer is right there with him as far as doing whatever it takes to get a kid to come to Alabama. He is willing to do whatever Courtney throws at him, whatever he has to do. Coach DeBoer is going to do it because he knows the importance of getting good players. And I think both of those guys knew that the lifeblood of the program was recruiting, and they worked hard to make sure it was positive.
We've talked about the business aspect that has changed recruiting to a certain extent. But beyond that piece of it, because you do still do it about Alabama and what Alabama can offer you beyond your playing days here in Tuscaloosa. Give me the 2 or 3 things that are the initial and most important pitch, Courtney, for a young man when you guys are talking with them and dealing with the aspect of somebody coming to join the Alabama program.
The first thing that jumps out off my head are the resources. I think the resources here are incredible, and I've been, like you said, I've been at other blue bloods, well, one other true blue blood, and there's levels to it, you know. And I think the Alabama resources are really unmatched. You know, I think you look at someone like Jeff Allen. I mean, we sent kids to meet with Jeff Allen on recruiting visits. I mean, that can close the deal alone, right? With Jeff, and then Coach Blue, they go in the weight room and how dialed in they are there, and how specific they are to each position, and the passion which they train, and how you can feel the passion of how they feel about what they do, right? Then you come and you meet the coaches. I think it's just the resources here and the investment that Alabama puts into their athletes. I think people see the difference because they come to us and like, man, I've never seen that, or I've never heard that breakdown of how much you guys invest into players from a sports medicine standpoint. So the resources are one. I think 2, the tradition and the fan base, which is great. They don't know about it when you lose a game, but they love it, and the tradition, the passion at Alabama, I think speaks for itself. And I think the third one are the people.
Right.
You know, and the people, the resources, we talk about the resources, but the people who are over the department are not only good at what they do, but they're great human beings. And I think people see that when they walk in the building.
Guys, congratulations on the success today, the early part of signing for National Signing Day 20, sounds crazy to say 26, but that's what it was for. And also, obviously, the opportunity to be a part of the SEC championship game and go win it this weekend. Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks, Chris.
your time.
All right,
Looking
Tim.
forward to it.
Thanks, Chris.
Bob Welton, Director of Player Personnel. Courtney Morgan, General Manager for Coach Kalen DeBoer, who's with us in a few minutes here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. One of the highlights from one of the great wins this year, of course, that interception just before halftime, or right at halftime, actually, of the Alabama-Tennessee game. One of the reasons why the title play for the SEC title this weekend. 3 o'clock Central is the airtime, or the kick time, actually, for the ball game. Will be on the air beginning at noon Central for that one this weekend. Stay with us. We are coming back with more in a moment. It's the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Come back. We are joined by the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer, with us. It's the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota, and it's right here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Championship Game Preview Show continues live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Presented by ALFA Insurance. Auto, home, life, business. ALFA Insurance covers it all. ALFAinsurance.com. Also presented by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. Once again, here's Chris Stewart.
Welcome back, everybody, to the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota, along with the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer. I'm Chris Stewart. Coach, been a full day. Talked to you earlier. We were doing a recruiting show online and a chance to talk about great success there. Before we go into that, let's talk about the great success last weekend. Congratulations, 2-0 for you in the Iron Bowl. Really special, and obviously the fans appreciate that here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. I know it's about the team, but personally, knowing what the rivalry game means, what does it mean to you to be able to get wins in your first two matchups with the Tigers?
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally understand what it's all about, and so that was a big one for us for a lot of reasons. The Iron Bowl, proud of the way the guys that just they're able to, I don't know, just like compartmentalize like what they need to do. You know, they don't get caught up in and they understand the hype and reasonably so, but they're able to just really kind of hone in. And I use the words a lot throughout the year because I think it's different types of energy, but I talk about channeling the energy, and sometimes it's energy when your backs are to the wall or you know, the noise outside, right. And it can be good noise, it can be bad noise, it can be all of that, but taking that energy and the energy that surrounds the Iron Bowl, our guys poured into the preparation, and they took care of business every single day during the week. And when you do that, you have an investment that you've made and a commitment that's, you know, supported by action to where when you get in that moment, you're focused on the details that it takes to execute the play. You understand the situation, of course, and go get it done.
You talk about resiliency a lot, too, and that was something that was evident in your squad. You get the lead, they cut it back, they actually tie it up, and then late, with all the things that happened, an amazing final drive that your squad had to, and I say final drive, but the last touchdown drive that was so very special.
Yeah, you know, the thing I love about our team is, you know, there's great things that happen, but what would happen to many teams when there's a comeback like there was, and just some momentum that was going, obviously not in our favor, and especially when you're on the road, that collapse can be, you know, too overwhelming. It can be too much, and our guys just time and time again when we've gotten in those situations, it's not too much. They are able to stay focused again on how to get the job done, and they did exactly that.
You got veterans that have led you throughout the year, especially on the defensive side, Coach. Keon Sabb, who's going to join us a little bit later in the program, but Deontay Lawson, Bray Hubbard, all with some really key plays. Talk to us about those young men and just the fact that your guys that you call on to lead truly did so in such a big moment.
They did. They definitely did. And, you know, they would be the first ones to say it takes the whole group because someone's got to get pressure on the quarterback. Someone's got to do the things that they can do to eat up blocks so they can go make those plays. But they play so hard. And, again, you talk about the dialed in, but you also talk the investment. The stuff that they're doing doesn't happen by accident. The stuff they're doing happens through hard work. They give great effort, and they're putting themselves in spots to where you create your own breaks. And, you know, that's because they're doing their job, and they trust the others around them, and, you know, they're great players. And so I'm super happy for them and super proud of them as well.
Zabian Brown's had some big moments in his career already at the University of Alabama, but overall, maybe his best game, Coach. How proud of him were you, I should say, of the job he did against some really talented receivers.
Their receiving core was as good as we've faced really throughout the year. And, you know, I'm not going to sit and pick it apart on which one was the best, but these guys were very good. And, you know, not just on the route running, but their ball skills. And then, you know, they made some plays that were really broken plays, you know, and we could have done a better job on that, but that's how they got a lot of their yards. We're on a couple broken plays, a couple of their touchdowns, And that's other than that, our guys did a great job, really, I think, causing a lot of problems with them being as consistent compared to what they've normally been, especially with what they did a couple weeks ago against Vanderbilt, where they just, threw it all over the place and made plays and ran the football, put up 40-some points against, those guys there at Vanderbilt. So, and it was an overtime game, but, I think it was a 7-point game there in the end. But just super proud of the way our whole defense played. And obviously ZB, he did his thing, made a lot of plays. He was in the right position, just stays within himself and trusts and believes that he's got what it takes.
Before I ask you this next question, I'm going to brace myself a little bit, because when I asked you this on the field after the game during the TV show the other day, I got more of a response and reaction from you than I expected, and it wound up all over the internet. The enthusiastic "let's go" I got from you when I brought up the SEC championship game at that time. Obviously, you could tell from that moment that it meant a lot to you, but for you and the squad to get there again. You're very familiar with playing for championships. You've done it all throughout your coaching career at all different levels, Coach. But what does it mean in year 2, be in Atlanta for the SEC title game at Alabama?
Yeah, I think from a program standpoint, this is what Alabama does. You go to the SEC championship and you play for national championships, and it's one of our goals that we have. And we talk about winning the SEC and national championship. We talk about doing it with pride, or with class integrity and academic excellence. And so, to get to this point, like you said, here in the second year, especially knowing just the ups and downs that we've been through, and I don't want to overuse the word resilient, but that's what these guys are, and they just keep forging ahead. And they've gotten knocked down a couple times over the last 2 years, but they get up fast, and then they get knocked down again. They get up faster. They really do. And especially after the Oklahoma game, I knew what the response would be, and it's been exactly that ever since.
Coach, our first question is brought to us by Toyota. Toyota, where we invite you to visit your local dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. And we don't have to go to the phone, Coach. We just go right out here in front of us. Pee-wee from Grand Bay in the house here at Baumhauer's for the first question of the night. Go ahead, buddy.
Coach, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Really good to see you.
Thank you. Last week our offensive line really stepped up, had the best rushing game that we've had in a very long time. And I just wanted to give a lot of credit to those guys and the defense as well, because they're the ones that really played lights out the entire game to keep us in the position to be able to win that game. But the question I have for you tonight is, we're having to play Georgia for a second time this season. What kind of challenges or advantages, disadvantages goes into when you do your game planning against somebody that you played very early in the season as compared to now?
Yeah, I think the last part, what you said, is the key. It was very early in the season, and so much has happened. My experiences, every place I've been, there's been some type of conference championship or playoff. Sioux Falls, that happened, and it was actually two games later we played. When I was at Fresno State as a coordinator, we played Boise State back-to-back, regular season conference championship. Did that a couple times there, twice actually. Played them 4 times in 1 year. And then, that's happened, at Washington, we played Oregon, conference championship. And I think the difference is that this one happened a little bit earlier in the season, when we played them. And what happens, and I'm putting us in this classification too, is good teams keep getting better, and you evolve, and you have really the same foundation. A lot of the concepts are all the same, but the playmakers emerge, young guys get better, and so there's things that you take, and you're like, okay, that's the starting point. But what have they done since we played them last? And again, they're there for a reason. They've done their things to continue to get better throughout the year, just like I would look at us, and we're a different team as well. So you understand the things that maybe you just missed, or the things that you saw that maybe you didn't even get to in your game plan. because of how the game flow happened, that helped you kind of get a quick jump on things. You understand also the things that didn't go how you thought they were going to go, or sometimes it's also how a team looks at the matchup and what you feel that they want to do to try to stop you, and how they're going to try to attack you, and you kind of have a better understanding there what worked and what didn't work for them. So you don't want to try to do too much. You get to this point, you are who you are. You just got to try to continue to do a few different things off of the identity of what your team really is, And so I'm proud of the way the guys have continued. I've said it for many weeks now with the offensive line. That's a big thing for you. You ask me almost weekly with the offensive line, and the guys have been persistent. That's the word I've used, persistent, and they just keep working and working and working. And I felt like we were right there in the Oklahoma game. We were right there, and we were about ready to crack a couple more really big ones that would have made a difference. Still had a lot of success relative to what other teams have had. The numbers don't look awesome, but the numbers against our defense don't look awesome when people play us, right? I mean, I put our defense up against anyone's in the entire country, and that their defense gets touted that way, reasonably so. But our offensive line, I thought, did a nice job in that game. And then I thought they also did a really nice job against a very, very tough front in Auburn. And, I can't say enough about it because I'm proud of how they just continue to stay the course. Doesn't matter the outside, what the heat is that they're taking. They just know that, man, okay, we got a little bit better here. We got to keep getting better, keep plugging away. But we ran the ball, I think maybe outside of the two, lower level games that they played, where you're probably going against a lot of backups and stuff that Auburn would be putting on the field. I think we were maybe second most in rushing yards, or close to that, out of anyone else they played all season long. And that's a better, what are they now, 5-7? It's a better 5-7 team than what most people think. And so, again, don't like to talk them up too much, right? we got to be careful now. But we also need to understand that we played a very good football team, which means we also played in a lot of ways, a very good football game ourselves.
All right. Thank you, Pee Wee. Thank you, Coach. We want to make sure you've got a chance to ask a question for Coach, either at 877-202-BAMA, or you can also be a part of the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota by submitting your question on the UA Athletics Hey Coach live stream on Facebook or YouTube. We're back with more from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in a moment here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
side as Tyler White's, they find a way to get it done.
And Coach Kalen DeBoer, your team keeps finding a way to get it done. Great victory. That went over South Carolina. And big at the time, all of them add up, don't they? And that's the reason you're in the SEC title
I
game.
didn't even hear what game it was going on.
That was
talking to
South Carolina.
Okay, all right,
Yes, sir.
I got you. Yeah, no, they all do. They all matter. We talk about every game matters, but we talk about every play matters, not just in games. But we talk about practice, and we try to always keep getting better, and I think we've done that. And we keep applying what we learn and what we experience to the next opportunity.
Coach, the next question we've got comes from the UA Athletics Facebook live stream. Says, hey, Coach, George is known for being physical up front, disciplined on defense, really efficient on offense. As you head into Saturday, how do you evaluate their strengths? What stands out to you the most about the way they play? And Derek, who asked the question, says, let's bring home the 31st SEC title in school history and Roll Tide.
Yeah, no, I think when you look at them, I think their quarterback play has really continued to improve, as it should, with more experience. Just like I would consider our players to continue to improve. They're good at finishing drives. They're good in the red zone offensively, and take advantage of their opportunities when they get there. They're going to be consistent, right? They're going to be consistent, and they're just a well-rounded team. And defensively, Coach Smart's always going to have those guys dialed in. It's always been a strength. They'll continue to find the ways to slow you down as the game goes on, and we got to do a good job of continuing to stay one step ahead, continue to make the adjustments necessarily across the board on both sides. But again, special teams, they got a returner with Branch that we were well aware of the first time, and he's continued to have great returns, kickoff, punt returns. I think they've used him a little bit more in the receiving game here as the season's gone along as well.
Right. Coach, we've got another question from here in the audience. Go ahead and say your name, please, and then give your question.
Hello, Coach. I'm Yosh Trivedi. I'm a news media student here at UA. Thank you for your time. One thing I've genuinely noticed throughout your career is that no matter what roster you have or what division or conference you've coached in, you've always been able to build an elite staff. With so many qualified candidates out there, what qualities help you identify the right fit for your staff?
The type of person that they are. You got to have smart, skilled, just the people that know what it takes to get the job done. People that are experienced, especially in their area. If you're trying to get an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, like Courtney was up here, from a recruiting standpoint. But I think there's also a piece where when you're trying to figure out between two people, who should I hire? A lot of it has to do with who they are as a person. I'd rather hire someone who's hardworking and trustworthy. You may not, if you don't know them, it's hard to, you got to trust your gut a little bit, ask around, truly understand through the evaluation or interview, but just trying to find really people that, place that as their priority. And you surround yourself with as many good people, even if they got to learn a skill or something in your organization that maybe isn't something exactly how they've done it or done it at all. You need to have a football coach that has coached receivers or running backs in order, they got to be really good in that area. But I'm really blessed to have gone through a lot of different ranks, and I think the one thing that's done is there's a lot of good coaches that continue to go through and I kind of think are under the radar. And, a lot of people probably didn't know much about most of the staff members that were coming with me or that I hired. But now you do. And they're seen as like extremely good coaches. And, a lot of that is just because they're really good people that now have gotten their opportunity and they're taking advantage of it like I knew they would.
Thank you for the question. Let's go to our first phone call of the night. Let's go to Chicago. Grant, welcome in. What's your question for Coach?
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, Grant.
I just wanted to call in and let you know how proud we are as a fan base today. I saw a tweet. I kind of just wanted to read it. In year two, Kalen DeBoer went 7-1 in the SEC, and it's earned Alabama a spot in the SEC game. Considering the talent level across the conference and favoring in that Alabama is still transitioning from past to future, I'd say he's doing a pretty damn good job. Less than 24 months ago when I was a senior, this roster was gutted. You hear it every Saturday, the former Alabama running back, the former Alabama safety. Yet Kalen DeBoer came in, recruited his tail off, and finished with the same record as the GOAT through his first 2 regular seasons with the Tide. And this is at a time where the drop-off between talent is at its lowest in 25 years. That's a credit to you, your staff, the players. You're the man for the job. Anybody that looks at this regular season as anything less than a success is living wrong. I'm proud to be an alumni of the school. Roll Tide. Sorry, I was out of breath. I've been up the gym.
What was the last part?
He said, "I'm sorry, I was out of breath. I've been up at the gym." But when he's saying that many nice things, we don't mind at all him being out of breath.
I'm
That's
good.
good stuff.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you reading that. I'm proud of what we've accomplished. And the message right now with the team, what they choose to kind of have as be their theme is, the job's not done. Because as much as we've accomplished, there's more that we know we want to go after and go get, and that's this team's expectation. That's this program's expectation, and we've never wavered from and shied away from any of those expectations that you have here at Alabama.
Coach, let's go to, I believe, Columbus, Georgia. Austin is up next. Go ahead, Austin.
Hey, Coach DeBoer, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Coach, my first question is, what stands out with this Georgia team than the last time we faced them?
Georgia.
What stands out from this team compared to the version of Georgia that we saw?
I think just better execution offensively. I think they understand who they want to get the ball to. They're playmakers. I think they've really kind of dialed in on the running back situation with Frazier a little bit more here as the season's gone on. So I think a lot of it's that. Just the quarterback has his guys that he's feeling more comfortable with. Some young guys just like us, some young guys that now have stepped up and feeling more comfortable in their roles on both sides of the ball. And so just consistency, just consistent week in and week out. And this is something that I don't feel like is, but they've been through the gauntlet as well. They've been through the gauntlet of the SEC, and as much as I love talking about what our guys do to overcome, they've done a lot of the same things. Finding ways to win, and especially win late. I mean, a lot of close games that they've been involved with, and found ways to end up on the right side.
You talked about their run game. Part of that is actually their quarterback, Coach, isn't it? I mean,
he's got like over 400 yards.
Yeah, he stepped it up a little bit since you saw him last. How do you defend the dual threat, I guess, when it comes to the QB?
Yeah, and we saw that this week. We saw it a few weeks ago with a guy who could move around versus Oklahoma. I think that's one thing this year as the season's gone on. We've just gotten so much better compared to a year ago at defending. Whether it's we call them +1 run game calls with the quarterback, or just the ability to do a good job in our pass rush lanes and things like that, to not let guys like that free. That happened in the game on Saturday where they got outside, broke contain, and then that makes it harder for your defensive backs. We lost one receiver down the sideline, and that's what hurt us. And so we got to continue to make sure that we're really sound, make sure we're disciplined in all of those ways.
Having a good time here. Folks over at Coleman Coliseum having a good time as well as the SEC ACC Men's Basketball Challenge is going on. The 12th ranked Tide leading Clemson 37-19 with about 6.5 minutes remaining in that first half. Right now, we need to pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network. back with us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network and the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota. Coach Kalen DeBoer signing some more autographs and taking a few pictures with the great crowd that has gathered here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. It gives us an opportunity to welcome to the stage and visit for a few moments with one of the great defensive players on that standout Bama defense, Keon Sabb, joining us here at Baumhauer's tonight. Good to see you, and obviously the folks appreciate not only your presence tonight, Keon, but what you've done throughout the course of the year, playing probably your best football right now. How does it feel to be playing at this level after missing the end of last year because of injury?
It's been a great feeling. You know, I've been blessed by God, getting the opportunity to come back on the football field and continue to get better. You know, the coaching staff and everybody has helped me to continue to get better from week. So I'm just blessed and happy to be back on the field.
You and Bray on the back of that defense, the two safeties, and I see the smile on your face and the nod of your head. Talk to me about the mentality of specifically the safeties, but the DBs as a whole on that.
As the safeties, me and Bray, we hit it off the most out there. We just try to be as physical as we can. So when I see him make a big hit, it fills me with joy and allows me to go do the same thing. Or if he makes a big play or if I make a big play, we feed off each other. And as a DB core, as a unit, I just feel like it's kind of the team motto as well, just being unbreakable, just taking it one play at a time and just playing good team ball.
How cool is it when you see a guy that you clearly care about as much as you do, Bray, have not one but two big plays? The pick, they say you guys can't catch. Look at Bray Hubbard bringing that deflection in for the interception in the first half or earlier, but then on the ground causing the fumble, I should say, late, which kind of saved the game for your squad.
The work he's put in and day out, like for us, we're not even surprised at times because the things that we've seen him do in practice. He's a tremendous playmaker. Somehow, some way, he always finds himself around the ball, and hopefully, we continue to see that for next game and the games to come on.
Coach DeBoer joining us back on stage. I got a question for Keon, but I want to ask. I'm looking for a one-word answer on something. I'm going to give Coach DeBoer one. Give me one word to describe this guy, if you could.
That's hard. I got a lot of words. They're all good.
As long as they're good.
They're all good.
I was going to say, as long as they're good, go ahead with them.
I mean, like competitive. He's just super competitive. I mean, it's not one word, but just like a loyal and true teammate, like a great teammate, just a great teammate. And again, when I think about him, I think about his attitude towards everything. He's just always positive. That goes along with being a great teammate. So yeah, I can't think of just one. Resilient, what he went through last year. I know I use that word a lot, but man, this guy, and just how he's been so steady, and consistent each and every day, each and every week, just goes about his business. He's about the work. There's no cutting corners with him. I mean, he is all about the work, and he's really smart on the football field. Like, I know our defensive staff just trusts him with so much as far as just being at the right place, the time, having some just football intelligence and instincts that really allow him to he's on a kickoff team. He's doing those type of things, so he'll do whatever it takes for us to win.
Got to make you feel pretty good.
Feel good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet. He earned it. I don't have to. I mean, that's I think all his teammates would say too.
Yeah, or no question about that. Keon, you've been in a championship game before for a conference. What are you saying to the guys who may not have been a part of a game like this in their career at any level?
I just want to say to those guys, the work you've put in throughout the season has prepared you for this moment. So don't ever make it anything bigger than what it is. We've been playing really good football throughout the whole entire season, and just the next game on our schedule, we just got to treat it individually as just go 1-0.
2 years for you now in T-Town. How special has it been to be here, to be a part of the greatest tradition in college football?
It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I've truly been blessed, taken in like a family here, and I truly love it.
Yeah. Coach, we're not really a Southern twang by any stretch, but I had to ask him exactly, remind me where he's from. He didn't sound like he's from the Turnpike, even though he's from New Jersey.
No, he's got a family full of athletes. I can't speak. I almost spoke in a way I can't right now. I almost said something I can't say.
Okay,
but it comes from a home that's awesome, full of great athletes in the family. And I was just sitting there thinking, I think he might have been the first guy that we brought in because he came in in February a year ago. That was just a couple weeks after I was here. So Keon, and then Parker, Germ, and Austin, and Josh would have been really the 5 guys I think we brought in there for last spring. So he's been here as long as I have, and so one of these guys that you just build around. He's come through in every way.
I know the answer, but I like to hear people's different answer. Why'd you come here and follow this man?
He's a tremendous leader. I just seen what he did at other schools. Just talking with my family, we just felt like he was the right guy to be around. And then like the first day I actually met him, and I flew in that night. We ended up chopping it up and kind of laughing about the national championship game we played against him.
Hey now.
Right. But from day one,
you were laughing. He wasn't laughing.
Yeah, but from day one, since the day I met him, he's always been really, really good to me.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if there was any odd moments about that. First of all, we've forgiven as well, because those that have forgotten, he was wearing maize and blue, in Pasadena. But you can redeem it. We're going to let you do that. But also between the two of y'all, because that wasn't a natty.
Yeah. 1 month earlier, so
yeah.
But we're here, and I'm excited about what he's going to do on Saturday. Helping us win a championship here. And we know it won't be easy, but man, I'll go with this defense and offense, obviously, but under these guys' leadership and guys like Keon, you have a lot of confidence going into it.
I'm glad both of you are here. That's for sure. Let's go to another question, Coach, from the Alabama football Facebook page. Rodney in Powder Springs, Georgia says, "Hey, Coach, I'm curious how you've motivated your teams to play the same opponent twice in the season. Roll Tide and beat the Dogs."
Well, I think because of the game and what it is, these guys are extremely motivated, just from an energy standpoint. I think a lot of it is just really trying to make sure, that from a perspective of just, again, what Keon said, just focus on what you can control and just trust what you've done all year. That's going to help you, in the moments that are going to come up in this game. So, from a motivating standpoint, this is for the SEC championship, and so I'm not going to take it for granted. But I also get to this point, and I trust what our guys do, and I've seen what our guys do to get ready each and every weekend, and they're right on track this week as well.
All right, Coach, we're going to continue with you and Keon Sabb more in just a moment. It's the ALFA Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota. That's here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, and again over at Coleman Coliseum. Alabama men's basketball, a 43-29 lead over Clemson. That's with about 2 minutes to go in the first half of that one. We're back with more in a moment on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Gets back. He'll roll to the left. Trying to get to the edge. Can't. He's brought down. Keon Sam read it perfectly. Able to bring him down back around the 20-yard line. Officially the 21. Sack or a quarterback run. Regardless, he goes to the turf, and Bama forces the FSU punt.
Time for our second question from our Alabama football Facebook page. Coach DeBoer from Larson in Biloxi, Mississippi, says, hey, Coach, congratulations on another excellent recruiting class. Do you have a funny in-home recruiting visit story that you can share from your past? Maybe the most unique meal that the player's mama cooked. Thank you, and roll tide.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's some that, take too long to tell the story, but here's something that I know did happen, is that you stack up these home visits back to back to back to back, and, everyone wants to cook for you, right?
Right.
And so I think there was one day, we were up in the Northern California area, and I think there was at least 4, and there was a school visit too. So we got the school in the middle there, but one was a late breakfast, like 11:30. Went to the school, and then there were still 3 more visits, and they're cooking for you.
Oh yeah. You got to.
You can't. You're offending them if you say no. I was so full that night, and I mean, there's other stories that I can talk about, but I just remember that day was like one of the most. I mean, it was great, but it was miserable.
Right.
Just eating, and you're talking about like, oh yeah, we ate there too, but I think they kind of start to figure it out, but. Yeah, there's a lot of food that day.
When you got home, did Nicole have dinner ready? That's what I want to know. She knew?
I told her, not tonight. Not tonight. I'm good.
Not tonight. Not going to eat tonight. All right. Keon Sabb here with us along with Coach Kalen DeBoer. You're set to graduate next weekend. Congratulations on that, first and foremost. What does your degree mean to you and your family?
It means a lot. From a kid, my parents always, stressed to me about my education, how important it was to me. As I got older, I started to truly lean into it, and it's really been an identity for me. Taking pride in my schoolwork and things like that, and to finally graduate, it's a great feeling.
What are you doing away from the field in your free time? I know there is none right now, but on those rare occasions, you get a little free time. What do you like to do?
I like to play the game a lot, and I also have a son, so I take care of my son,
Awesome.
Running around with him all the time, just watching him grow up. It's been amazing.
Coach, is that the type thing that you do discuss with players? All right, I want to help you become a man, but some of you already are, and you're dealing with real life circumstances, situations, being a father. Do you have those type conversations?
I think
well?
I think you're constantly looking for ways to where you can use what you're in sports, right, and football, and the situations you're in, and how this will, how you respond, and how this can make you a better person. And then there's also things we do on the side. We have like Josh Chapman, Denzel Duvall, and HaHa. Those guys do a great job with just real life.
Right.
Educational type things and stuff like that. But to me, a lot of being an adult and trying to use the things that, trying to throw in the moments, hey, this is what this means to me as a dad, or, this means as a husband, but then there's also the times that you go through, and I can specifically think of a couple times this year where we said, hey, we're going to be better people because of what we're going to go through right now. And I really believe that these guys are going to carry on, and that's just one of the many reasons, but one of the reasons why I want these guys to continue to stay on this journey and see it through, because they're going to remember this and apply it to the hard times that they have with whatever comes their way. But every single day when you have 125 guys, there's something happening. There's a broken bone. There's something happening. There's something at home. There's that's happening, to guys, loved ones passing away. Those things are happening. That's happening this week,
Sure.
And so it's just when you have 120 guys, you're going through that with them. And, that's, I'm blessed to be in this spot where I can be there for them.
Great stuff, Coach. Let's get one more call in real quick. Chris and Calera. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, Coach. Appreciate you taking my call. Keon, having a great season, man. Enjoying watching y'all play. Coach, when Ty gets the line of scrimmage, is there an ideal time frame on the play clock you want him to get there to set the motion, to set the protection, so that the play clock's not getting down 3, 2, 1 and giving the defense a jump on the snap? And Keon, do you witness that as a defender and get a jump on the snap if you're blitzing in those situations? Thank you, Coach, and Roll Tide.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets down to 0 or 1-0, yeah, I mean, most times you got to snap it. But, I mean, I would tell our guys to still make sure that the ball is snapped. There's different reasons, especially now with helmet communication.
Right.
It depends on the game. It depends on the coordinator. It depends on, if we got someone who calls it a certain way, we're going to do things with certain timing of when we bring the plays in. And, there's, not to give away a lot of our things, and it isn't every game, but, 15 seconds, the helmet communication does shut off with the defensive play caller, and so there's things you want to do because there's a lot of ways you can gain an edge, both as a defensive coach and those tactics, and also as an offensive coach.
Almost out of time. I got to ask Keon real quick. Tell me how excited you are about being back in a championship game, in a championship situation this weekend.
I'm extremely excited. Words can't really explain how I feel about it. We're supposed to be in games like this. Us being a good team like we are this year. Just truly excited to be blessed with this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great stuff. Coach, last question. The final word is to you, and it's presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. Not a question other than what's your final word to the fan base?
SEC championship, here we come, and guys are excited about the journey we've been on, and like I said, their job, according to them, the job's not done, and I love that. And we're giving everything we have to have a great Saturday. We know it's not going to be easy, but we're gonna give everything we have, just like we have all year.
Look forward to seeing you compete and claim an SEC title this weekend. We're pulling for you, obviously. Thank you for the time tonight, both you, Coach DeBoer, and also Keon Sapp. Great to see you both.
Yep, you bet. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Safety Keon Sapp, and of course, head coach Kalen DeBoer with us here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, the Alpha Insurance SEC Championship Preview Show presented by Toyota. This segment brought to you by Coca-Cola. Passionate fans and an ice cold Coca-Cola, that's a winning combo. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola. Coming back with more in a moment here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. against the Georgia Bulldogs again. What's on tap next? Presented by Coors Light. Crimson Tide fans choose to chill with an ice-cold Coors Light. Next up, Kirby Smart and the Dogs at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The broadcast starts at noon Central on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, presented by Learfield. Hey, if you missed any portion of tonight's show, you can always catch it on demand on our Alabama Insider podcast. Download and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. A busy show tonight, a lot going on this ALFA Insurance SEC Championship preview show presented by Toyota, but also a lot going on with the Alabama campus right now over at Coleman Coliseum. They are at halftime as number 12 Alabama men's basketball leads Clemson 45-30. The Tigers coming in with a 7-1 overall record. Alabama 5-2, and again ranked 12th in the nation at the moment. Do want to remind you as well that for you fans that are rolling into Atlanta for the SEC Championship this Saturday, be sure to purchase your tickets today to Tailgating with the Tide. That's the official tailgate of the Crimson Tide. It's a pregame event at Hudson Grill hosted by the University of Alabama National Alumni Association in partnership with Yay Alabama and Crimson Tide Sports Marketing. Tailgate with the Tide tickets include food and drinks, and also non-alcoholic ticket options are available. The UA National Alumni Association and Yay Alabama members save $10 on tickets. Just visit uanaa.link/SEC25 for more details. And roll Tide. Again, that's uanaa.link/SEC25 for more information. Our general manager and vice president for the Crimson Tide Sports Network is, of course, Jim Carabin. Our producer engineer has been Tom Stipe. Our studio engineer today has been Eric Nichols. Thanks to our guest on the show tonight, Courtney Morgan, general manager for Coach Kalen DeBoer's staff, and his director of player personnel, Bob Welton. Coach DeBoer and Keon Sabb with us also. For all of those individuals, I'm Chris Stewart. Thanks for joining us. Roll Tide, and good night from Baumhauer's Victory Grill.